I bet you didn't know this. By the time you turn 80, your muscle mass could have dropped by nearly half. Unless you do something about it, sarcopenia, or age-related muscle loss, isn't just a normal part of getting older. That's the outdated belief. But here's what most people never hear. It's preventable, even reversible, and not just in theory. We now have proof. In every generation, there are men and women in their 70s and 80s who still hike, lift, dance, and live fully independent lives. They don't just stay active, they thrive. And no, it's not luck, it's not genes, it's what they do daily. A set of habits so powerful that they challenge everything we thought we knew about aging. Stick with me, because today, we're uncovering the truth behind their strength. What you'll learn might change the way you think about growing older, forever. Before we begin, if you care about staying strong, independent, and informed as you age, this is the place for you. The Wise Senior is here to share real practical wisdom backed by science and lived experience. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss a video that could change the way you live each day. Now, let's dive in. Hormetic stress, short bursts of healthy stress that protect muscle and mitochondria. One of the most paradoxical habits shared by the strongest seniors is their willingness to introduce brief, controlled stressors into their daily lives. These stressors, known as hormetic stressors, trigger the body's adaptive response, strengthening muscles, improving resilience, and activating protective genes that support mitochondrial function. The concept behind hormesis is simple. What may be harmful in large doses can be beneficial in small measured amounts. This principle applies directly to muscle preservation in older adults. Temperature variation is the most common hormetic stressor. Exposing the body to brief bouts of cold, like ending a shower with 30 to 60 seconds of cold water or taking short cold plunges, stimulates brown fat, boosts mitochondrial biogenesis, and increases adiponectin, a hormone that guards muscle tissue against breakdown. On the other end of the spectrum, regular sauna use activates heat shock proteins that repair and protect muscle cells. A Finnish study even found that using a sauna 4 to 7 times per week was linked to 40% less muscle loss compared to non-users. Intermittent fasting is another effective form of hormetic stress. By limiting food intake to an 8 to 10 hour window daily, without reducing overall calories, seniors can activate autophagy, the body's cellular cleanup process. According to research from the Salk Institute, this method can enhance mitochondrial activity in muscle tissue by up to 10% in just 12 weeks. The third form of hormetic stress is isometric contraction. This involves pushing or pulling against an immovable object with maximal effort for 5 to 10 seconds. These short, intense contractions send powerful signals to muscle cells to stay active and large, even without heavy lifting. They are particularly valuable for older adults because they minimize joint strain while maximizing muscle engagement. What makes hormetic stressors uniquely effective is their timing and intensity. They are brief, never prolonged, and are always followed by recovery periods. When applied correctly, they stimulate the activation of key longevity genes such as FOXO and sirtuins, both of which play vital roles in preserving muscle mass and function. The goal is not to overwhelm the system, but to gently challenge it. A few minutes of temperature exposure, a time-restricted eating window, or a handful of well-executed muscle contractions can all spark a powerful physiological response that keeps muscles healthier longer. Incorporating hormetic stress into your life isn't about making radical changes. It's about small, manageable shifts, turning the water cold at the end of your shower, spacing out your meals more intentionally, or holding a simple static push for a few seconds each morning. Over time, these controlled stressors can help reverse the trajectory of muscle decline and contribute to a stronger, more independent future. Most older adults have heard that getting enough protein is essential for maintaining muscle mass as they age. But what they rarely hear, even from health professionals, is that when you consume that protein can matter just as much as how much you consume. This concept is known as protein timing, and recent research suggests that improper timing may be silently sabotaging the efforts of millions of seniors trying to stay strong and independent. Here's the issue. The typical dietary pattern among older adults is heavily skewed toward a large evening meal. For many, breakfast may consist of toast, cereal, or fruit, meals that are low in protein, Lunch might include a sandwich or soup with only moderate protein. Then dinner arrives, often carrying the bulk of the day's protein: chicken, fish, meat, beans. While this may seem harmless, studies now show that this approach underutilizes the body's ability to synthesize muscle throughout the day. According to a major study published in the Journal of Nutrition, adults over 60 who distributed their protein intake more evenly across 3 meals, approximately 25 to 30 grams per meal, experienced up to 25% greater muscle protein synthesis than those who consumed the same amount of protein in one large meal. The reason lies in how aging muscles process protein. As we grow older, we face a phenomenon known as anabolic resistance, a reduced ability of muscle to respond to dietary protein. In other words, older muscles need a stronger signal to stimulate growth. This signal is triggered not only by the presence of high-quality protein, but by the timing and consistency of intake. When protein is consumed in small amounts throughout the day, each meal provides a new opportunity to activate muscle synthesis. But when it is packed into one meal, usually dinner, the body misses 2 critical windows earlier in the day when it could have maintained or even built new muscle tissue. Essentially, the opportunity is lost. To take full advantage of protein's muscle-building potential, the ideal strategy is to aim for 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein, such as eggs, dairy, legumes, lean meats, or soy, at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This creates 3 separate peaks of muscle synthesis throughout the day, helping to counteract the effects of anabolic resistance and slow the progression of sarcopenia. It's important to understand that consuming more than 30 grams of protein in one sitting does not necessarily yield more benefit. Once the body's protein synthesis capacity is saturated, any excess protein is either used for energy or excreted. Therefore, spacing protein intake properly is not only more effective, but also more efficient. This approach requires a mindset shift for many seniors who are used to lighter morning meals. But making even small adjustments, such as adding Greek yogurt to breakfast, a boiled egg or tofu to lunch, or switching to a high-protein smoothie, can create measurable improvements in muscle preservation over time. In practical terms, consistent protein distribution throughout the day is one of the simplest and most evidence-backed ways for older adults to retain strength, mobility, and independence. And best of all, it requires no supplements, no gym membership, and no radical diet. Just a smarter way of doing what we already do eat. In the context of healthy aging, timing is everything. And when it comes to protein, spread it out, because the right pattern, repeated daily, can help your muscles stay active, strong, and resilient for years to come. It's no exaggeration to say that vitamin D is one of the most underappreciated factors in age-related muscle decline. Often referred to as the muscle vitamin, vitamin D plays a critical role in maintaining muscle strength, balance, and coordination in older adults. Yet studies consistently show that over 80% of seniors are deficient in it. This widespread deficiency isn't just a nutritional gap. It is a direct contributor to the loss of independence and physical decline in aging populations. Research from Harvard University and the Journal of the American Medical Association has confirmed that optimal levels of vitamin D are associated with significantly greater muscle strength, faster reaction time, and improved balance. These qualities are essential for preventing falls, one of the leading causes of injury-related deaths among people over 75. The recommended threshold for vitamin D sufficiency in the elderly has evolved in recent years. While older guidelines focused on minimal levels to prevent bone disease, more recent findings point to 40 nanograms per milliliter, (NGSML), as the target for optimal muscle function and fall prevention. Levels below 20 NGSML are classified as deficient and are associated with increased frailty, slower gait speed, and higher risk of sarcopenia. Maintaining these levels becomes increasingly difficult with age. The skin's ability to synthesize vitamin D from sunlight decreases by more than 50% between the ages of 20 and 65. Additionally, many seniors spend less time outdoors, and when they do, they often wear protective clothing or sunscreen, further reducing synthesis. As a result, dietary intake and supplementation become essential. The typical dietary intake, even with foods fortified with vitamin D, is rarely enough to restore deficient levels. For most older adults, supplementation is necessary. According to clinical data, 2,000 to 4,000 IU per day is generally required to maintain serum levels above 40 ng/ml. However, this dosage should always be guided by blood tests and physician supervision to avoid excessive intake. One important but frequently overlooked aspect of vitamin D supplementation is its interaction with vitamin K2. While vitamin D increases calcium absorption, vitamin K2 ensures that this calcium is directed to the bones, not the arteries. Without adequate K2, high doses of vitamin D can potentially lead to vascular calcification, increasing cardiovascular risk. Vitamin K2 is found in fermented foods like natto, as well as certain cheeses, egg yolks, and liver. For those supplementing with vitamin D, including K2, either through food or in combined formulations, adds a critical safeguard for vascular health while supporting skeletal and muscular systems. In addition to supplementation, small lifestyle adjustments can enhance vitamin D status. These include brief, direct sun exposure to the arms and legs during midday hours, 10 to 20 minutes, increasing intake of vitamin D-rich foods such as fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified dairy, and scheduling regular lab work to monitor levels. The impact of optimized vitamin D levels goes beyond bones. It is directly tied to neuromuscular performance, helping the body maintain stability, reduce the risk of falls, and preserve mobility well into later decades of life. In the context of healthy aging, this is not just about avoiding deficiency, it's about actively reaching and maintaining optimal levels that support muscular resilience. Combined with K2, proper vitamin D management becomes a cornerstone of any effective muscle preservation strategy after 60. Put simply, vitamin D is not optional, it is foundational for those seeking to stay strong, upright, and independent. Ensuring adequate intake, correcting deficiencies, and maintaining levels above 40 ng/ml is a practical and evidence-based step that can yield lifelong benefits. One of the most overlooked enemies of muscle health in older adults is not inactivity or poor diet alone. It is chronic low-grade inflammation, often referred to as inflammaging. Unlike acute inflammation, which is a natural and beneficial response to injury or infection, inflammaging is a persistent and silent process that gradually wears down the body over time. Its impact on muscle function is both profound and well documented. Research from Tufts University and the University of California has shown that older adults with elevated inflammatory markers experience muscle loss up to 3 times faster than their peers with low inflammation levels, even when diet and physical activity are similar. This type of inflammation disrupts the anabolic signaling required for muscle protein synthesis, making it harder to build or maintain muscle mass. It also interferes with recovery after exercise, weakening the body's ability to repair and grow new tissue. So how can this silent process be managed? The answer lies in everyday lifestyle habits that reduce systemic inflammation and support the body's internal balance. The first foundational habit is getting consistent, high-quality sleep. Inadequate or fragmented sleep increases the production of inflammatory cytokines, proteins that promote inflammation in tissues throughout the body. Studies show that even short-term sleep disruption can raise these markers by as much as 40%, accelerating muscle degradation. Seniors are encouraged to maintain regular sleep schedules and minimize light exposure during the night to enhance sleep quality and hormonal repair cycles. Second is nourishing the gut microbiome through diet. The gut plays a crucial role in regulating inflammation. Age-related changes to gut flora can increase intestinal permeability and activate immune responses that fuel systemic inflammation. To combat this, a diverse plant-rich diet is recommended, particularly one that includes at least 30 types of plant foods per week, as well as fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and miso. These foods introduce beneficial probiotics and prebiotics that help maintain gut integrity and reduce inflammation at the source. Third, moderate and consistent physical activity is key. While intense or prolonged exercise may exacerbate inflammation in some cases, low to moderate activity has been shown to reduce pro-inflammatory markers and stimulate anti-inflammatory pathways. Daily walking, gentle resistance training, or swimming provide muscular stimulation without overstressing the body. For optimal results, occasional short bursts of intensity, for example, light interval training, may be included once or twice per week, depending on an individual's fitness level and recovery capacity. The fourth strategy is targeted anti-inflammatory supplementation. Nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids, found in fatty fish or high-quality supplements, play a powerful role in modulating inflammation. Clinical trials demonstrate that 2 to 3 grams of omega-3 CES daily can reduce inflammatory cytokines and protect muscle tissue. Other effective compounds include curcumin from turmeric and polyphenols, which are naturally found in foods like green tea, olive oil, berries, and dark leafy greens. These bioactive compounds neutralize oxidative stress and block pathways that contribute to chronic inflammation. Routine monitoring of inflammatory biomarkers, such as high-sensitivity C-reactive protein, hsCRP, can offer insights into one's internal inflammatory status. While most older adults have hsCRP levels in the range of 3-5 mg/cell, those who maintain exceptional muscle health, sometimes referred to as superagers, consistently maintain levels below 1.0 mg/cell. Chronic inflammation doesn't just affect comfort or energy levels, it actively undermines your body's ability to stay strong. Managing it is not about taking a single pill or following a strict regimen. It's about daily consistency and habits that support recovery, reduce stress on the system, and allow the muscle-building processes to function properly. In short, controlling inflammation is one of the most foundational elements of maintaining strength and independence after 60. When your internal environment is calm and balanced, your body is free to thrive. While much attention is given to macronutrients like protein, carbohydrates, and fats, what often goes unnoticed is the crucial role of specific micronutrients in supporting muscle maintenance, neuromuscular coordination, and efficient protein utilization, especially after the age of 60. For older adults aiming to preserve strength, independence, and vitality, ensuring consistent intake of key micronutrients is no longer optional, it's foundational. One of the most critical yet overlooked micronutrients is magnesium. Often called the forgotten electrolyte, magnesium plays a direct role in over 300 enzymatic reactions, many of which are essential to muscle contraction, energy production, and nerve signaling. Studies have shown that more than 70% of older adults are deficient in magnesium. This shortfall contributes to reduced muscle performance, slower recovery, and even impaired glucose regulation. Maintaining adequate magnesium levels has been associated with stronger grip strength and better overall physical performance. Foods rich in magnesium, such as dark leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and legumes, should be prioritized. And when necessary, magnesium glycinate or threonate supplements may be used to enhance absorption. Creatine is another powerful ally. Often misunderstood as a supplement for bodybuilders, creatine has now been well established in scientific literature as a muscle-supporting compound for older adults. It helps restore ATP, the primary fuel source for muscle contractions, and promotes intracellular water retention, creating an anabolic environment for muscle repair. Supplementing with 3 to 5 grams of creatine per day has been shown to improve muscle mass, functional strength, and even cognitive performance in the elderly, making it a safe and effective addition to daily nutritional strategy. Equally important is vitamin B12, particularly in its methylated form methylcobalamin. As we age, our bodies produce less stomach acid, which impairs the ability to absorb B12 from food. Compounding this issue, many older adults take medications, such as proton pump inhibitors or metformin, that further deplete B12 stores. A deficiency in B12 can lead to muscle weakness, fatigue, and neurological issues that mimic cognitive decline. Supplementation with methylated B12 ensures bioavailability and supports both muscular energy metabolism and nervous system health. In addition to these, trace minerals such as zinc, selenium, and chromium are vital. These minerals act as cofactors in protein synthesis, hormone balance, and insulin sensitivity, all of which are essential for transporting nutrients into muscle cells and regulating their growth. Zinc plays a direct role in tissue repair and immune function. Selenium supports antioxidant defenses, reducing oxidative stress on muscles. Chromium enhances insulin action, facilitating glucose uptake into muscle cells, fuel necessary for both activity and recovery. Longitudinal studies have shown that older adults who maintain optimal levels of these trace minerals experience significantly less muscle degradation over time. In fact, a 5-year study at Tufts University found a 22% higher muscle mass retention in those with adequate levels of zinc, selenium, and chromium compared to those with deficiencies. It's important to note that while a multivitamin may offer small amounts of these nutrients, individualized supplementation based on blood work often yields better results. Micronutrient testing allows older adults to tailor their intake based on actual physiological needs, avoiding both underdosing and unnecessary excess. In conclusion, maintaining muscle mass and function in older age is not solely about how much protein you consume or how often you exercise. It also depends on whether your body has the micronutrient support it needs to translate those efforts into results. By supplementing magnesium, creatine, methylated B12, zinc, selenium, and chromium on a daily basis, older adults can optimize their metabolic environment, enhance neuromuscular connections, and better withstand the natural declines associated with aging. Small daily habits, when grounded in science, create long-term strength. There is a little-known truth about muscle loss that most people never hear. As muscles atrophy, it's not just the fibers that weaken, it's the connection between your brain and muscles that begins to fray. This connection, called the neuromuscular junction, acts like a communication cable between your nervous system and your muscles. Once this connection begins to decline, which it does rapidly after age 60, no amount of protein or exercise alone can restore muscle strength. You must protect the bridge itself. The integrity of these neuromuscular pathways is what allows you to efficiently recruit muscle fibers, respond quickly to your environment, and maintain physical coordination. And it turns out, individuals who maintain their strength and function well into their 80s consistently engage in specific habits that help preserve these vital connections. The first strategy is movement, but not just any movement. Unlike traditional strength training, activities that demand coordination and precision engage the neuromuscular system in a uniquely powerful way. Exercises such as Tai Chi, dancing, ping pong, and tennis all require the brain to send rapid, organized signals to multiple muscle groups. This strengthens the very circuits that connect the brain to the muscles. Studies show that older adults who consistently engage in coordination-intensive activities can preserve up to 31% more neuromuscular connectivity than those who perform only repetitive or low-demand exercises. Why does this matter? Because neuromuscular disconnection leads to slower reaction times, weaker muscle recruitment, and ultimately a greater risk of falls and functional decline. It's not just about moving, it's about moving with purpose and complexity, encouraging the brain to stay in sync with the body. The second strategy is nutritional support, specifically targeting nutrients that help protect nerve function and support the biochemical pathways involved in neuromuscular transmission. Among the most effective are alpha-lipoic acid, ALA, a potent antioxidant that combats oxidative stress around the nerve-muscle junction. Acetyl-L-carnitine, which supports mitochondrial function and helps maintain energy production within nerve cells. Activated B1, such as benfotiamine, essential for healthy nerve signaling and prevention of neuropathy. Huperzine A, a natural compound that boosts levels of acetylcholine, the primary neurotransmitter responsible for muscle activation. These compounds work synergistically to protect the delicate communication network between the brain and muscles, reducing the breakdown of this critical link and preserving physical function. The third pillar of neuromuscular maintenance involves a tool that is often underestimated: the breath. Specifically, practicing vagus nerve stimulation through controlled breathing techniques has been shown to enhance parasympathetic tone and support more efficient neuromuscular communication. Techniques such as box breathing, inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold again for 4, activate the vagus nerve, helping to calm the nervous system and improve signaling to muscles. In fact, just 5 minutes of structured breathing per day can increase neuromuscular activation by as much as 15%, reinforcing the idea that even simple low-effort habits can yield significant physiological benefits when done consistently. Taken together, these 3 strategies, coordinated movement, targeted supplementation, and breath control, form a comprehensive approach to preserving neuromuscular connections. Without this, even the strongest muscles become disconnected from the command center, leading to gradual decline in strength, coordination, and independence. Maintaining the neuromuscular bridge is not just about staying active, it's about staying connected. It is this connection that allows your body to respond, to adapt, and to remain strong far beyond what age alone might suggest. Among all the strategies to fight age-related muscle loss, one habit consistently rises above the rest: progressive resistance training. Experts at Tufts University have called it the most powerful, anti-aging intervention ever discovered. And yet, most older adults never implement it correctly or at all. Here's what many people don't realize. Muscles operate on a strict use it or lose it principle. But maintaining muscle isn't just about using it. You have to challenge it, progressively. That's the crucial difference. Walking, water aerobics, or light weights can certainly support general mobility and cardiovascular health. But when it comes to preserving and rebuilding muscle mass, these mild forms of movement fall short, especially after age 60. The key is intensity. According to research from McMaster University, just 2 weeks of high-intensity resistance training, where participants trained to near muscle failure, produced more muscle gain in older adults than 5 weeks of moderate-intensity exercise. The goal isn't to spend hours at the gym. The goal is to reach a point during each set where the muscles can no longer complete another repetition with good form. This state, known as transient muscle failure, sends a powerful anabolic signal to the body, triggering protein synthesis that lasts for up to 72 hours post-exercise. The second cornerstone of effective training is compound movements, multi-joint exercises like squats, rows, deadlifts, presses, and pulls. These exercises activate multiple muscle groups at once, prompting a greater hormonal response and enhancing overall strength and coordination. When adapted to an individual's mobility and joint health, compound exercises are far more effective than isolated movements, like bicep curls or leg extensions. A third principle, progressive overload, ensures that muscles continue to grow. This means gradually increasing the weight, reps, or difficulty over time. Sticking to the same dumbbells month after month causes plateaus. Muscles adapt to stress, and only by increasing that stress can you continue to build strength. Tracking progress, whether in a notebook or using an app, is key to making small, consistent improvements. There's also a lesser-known but highly effective technique called eccentric training, focusing on the lowering phase of each lift. Lowering the weight slowly during a squat or a press puts more tension on the muscles while reducing stress on the joints. Eccentric movement is particularly beneficial for older adults, improving muscle strength without increasing injury risk. And here's the most encouraging part: you don't need to train every day. Just 2 30-minute sessions per week, done with proper form and enough intensity, can produce measurable improvements in muscle mass, bone density, glucose regulation, and even cognitive function. A study from the University of Alabama found that participants over 65 who followed this approach gained an average of 3.3 pounds of lean muscle and significantly improved their strength, balance, and memory. The most common mistake: believing resistance training is too risky or inappropriate for older adults. But the real risk lies in not doing it. Without progressive strength training, muscle continues to decline, increasing the likelihood of falls, frailty, and dependency. This isn't about bodybuilding. It's about preserving independence. About keeping the strength to rise from a chair, carry groceries, climb stairs, or play with grandchildren. With the right structure, supervision, and commitment, progressive resistance training becomes the foundation of aging well. If there's only one habit you carry forward from this guide, let it be this: train your muscles progressively, deliberately, and consistently. Your future self will thank you. A gentle reminder for the strong years ahead: growing older doesn't mean growing weaker. One of the most empowering realizations is that muscle loss after 60 is not inevitable. It's a choice shaped by daily habits. While many believe strength fades simply with age, research tells a different story. With the right nutrition, movement, and mindset, your muscles can remain resilient, even into your 80s and beyond. The key is intention, not intensity. Gentle resistance training, protein-rich meals spaced throughout the day, and nourishing micronutrients like vitamin D and magnesium aren't just nice to have, they're essential for preserving your strength, balance, and independence. Even your breath, your sleep, and how often you move have a say in how well your muscles function. This isn't about looking young. It's about feeling strong enough to live on your terms, climb stairs, lift groceries, hug your grandchildren, or simply walk with confidence. Every small action adds up. So if you've been waiting for a sign to take better care of your body, let this be it. You're not too late. Your muscles are still listening. Now it's your turn. Which insight hit home the most for you today? Don't just scroll away, leave a comment below, and let your voice be part of this important conversation. Your story could inspire someone else. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. If this video gave you something to reflect on, or even just one small idea to improve your daily routine, then it's already a win. Don't keep it to yourself. Hit the like button, share this with a friend who might benefit, and subscribe to The Wise Senior so you never miss another chance to care for your well-being. Because every day is an opportunity to live stronger, brighter, and more connected.